Happy Friday, folks. This is Andrew with MyWatchAddiction.com, and today we're going to do a quick follow-up review on that Smith and Bradly Atlantis that I received as a part of my Watchgang Platinum subscription for May 2018. So some of you guys may have seen the unboxing video of this Smith and Bradly Atlantis. You're going to notice something a little bit different right off the bat. It's no longer green. Yep, that's right. Thankfully, to one of my subscribers, I traded away the green Smith and Bradly Atlantis and traded him for this white dialed Smith and Bradly Atlantis, which Caleb, I am extremely grateful for, because I'm a much bigger fan of this white dialed one than the green one, and I definitely hope you enjoy the green one. Let's zoom in a little bit and talk about this watch. Now, full confession, I haven't even had this watch on my wrist yet, but I just wanted to do a follow-up video real quick on it. Now that I've had some time to at least have it in my hands, I have not even sized this one yet, but by the time this video airs, I will have sized it and it will be on my wrist, and you will be able to see it on Instagram/watchaddiction.us. Most likely the day you're watching this video, but if not, definitely check it out there. So if we take a look around this watch real quick, this watch does have a 44mm case size excluding the crown, with a case thickness of 13mm. Now, one thing I just want to point out, if you guys saw my Watchgang Black deeper dive, the case thickness on that pure dial was 13mm also. So two completely different size watches, completely different style watches, exact same case thickness, but that pure dial is going to wear a lot bigger, I think, than this one did. It definitely stood a lot taller. It felt like it stood a lot taller, even though the thickness was the exact same. While I was over here, you see that S&B logo right there on the crown. That is a screw down crown. One of the features that gives this watch a 200-meter water resistance. Now, this watch is powered by a Swiss ETA 2824-2 movement with, that's a 25 joule automatic movement. Now, you guys saw the watch that I'm wearing today, that Aragon flat tube Virtuoso. That's using the exact same movement, the ETA 2824. So from what I've seen in my experience, that has been a pretty solid movement. That movement does offer hand wind, and if I can get this guy out here, hacking ability on the second hand. That's the Swiss ETA 2824-2 Elabor grade, Elabra, however you pronounce it, automatic movement. Incidentally, one thing I just want to point out real quick is Smith and Bradly Watches actually has two flavors of this watch. They have an in-house build and then they have an international build. Now, one of the ways you can tell the difference is right there at that 6 o'clock position. You see the Swiss movement. Their international built watches have that Swiss movement nomenclature right there at that 6 o'clock position. The in-house built ones do not. The movement on this watch, however, is calibrated to plus or minus 3 seconds per day. Now, I haven't checked accuracy on this specific watch, so I can't personally comment if that's true or not, but that's what they state. And of course, thanks to this Swiss ETA 2824 movement, this does have a whopping 40-hour power reserve. So if we talk about the aesthetics of this watch just a little bit, this is a bead blasted stainless steel finish. So it almost gives you that titanium and or flat stainless steel look in this, both the case as well as the bracelet. The bracelet has a double locking fold over clasp with micro adjustments, and the S&B logo embroidered, embedded right there in the clasp. Lastly, if we look over to the case back, You do see Swiss movement. Does not have an open display case back, full case back right there. I do like the very basic styling of this watch. It seems like a very, very basic styled watch. Looks like it's going to be comfortable. The lugs aren't overly huge. The bracelet's not too small, not too big. It seems like it's going to be a good size. The one thing, if I had anything to say about this watch so far, recognizing I haven't had it on my wrist, but the one thing I would say about this watch, and I've heard a number of other people comment on, is that bezel on this watch does seem kind of plain. You do have the raised markers right there on that bezel. However, if it was me personally, I would probably have added some colors to that bezel, at least at the hour indices or the indices right there. Simply to complement the color on the dial so it doesn't look washed out. I think that's what some of people's complaints is on that watch, is just that bezel just looks very washed out in its very, very plain design with no color, there's no real separation in the colors on this watch. So it just gives it a very flat look. Now aesthetically, that could be absolutely what Smith and Bradley was going for. I don't know that at all, but that would just be what I would do personally if I had built this watch. So I think overall, I'm actually kind of digging this Smith and Bradley Atlantis with that Swiss ETA movement in it. Now that I've traded this guy and gotten a color that I like, and I'm not dealing with green anymore, I think that this watch has the potential to stick around in the collection a little bit before I pass it on. As I mentioned, I agree with a lot of the guys out there. I think this bezel is just very, very plain. I think they could have made it pop a little bit more if they added some color to those raised indicators or raised numbers and indices on the outside of that bezel. But for the most part, it's just a very basic, plain watch that seems to be pretty well built. I don't necessarily have any issues with this one either whatsoever. And between my Watchgang Black subscription this month and this Watchgang Platinum, although my first one didn't, but this Watchgang Platinum subscription, Watchgang met my subscription preferences with both of these watches. So I'm kind of stoked about that. That's good to see. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here. If you guys want to see this watch on my wrist, don't forget to follow us at Instagram/watchaddiction.us. And guys, we'll see you next week.